All right. Hello, Alejandro. How are
Hello.
you today?
I'm fine. I'm more than fine. I'm happy. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to connect several parts in the world. No, because you're saying we have a lot of friends there in several countries in Africa, but also friends in New York and friends in other places. So yeah, I'm really happy to see what kind of global network we are doing with this group of friends here, teachers and guests to talk about education and the new challenges.
Well, for the new people, Alejandro Roldan and Luis Vanegas, we are from the organization TOMi Digital. We are an EdTech company that works globally. And our main interest right now is to be able to create a community of people, mostly teachers, that are interested in evolving education, innovation towards education, technology for education in an efficient, in a way that is definitely an appropriate way, in agreement with methodological approaches, in agreement with where the world is heading, and in agreement with a conversation that is global. So we would like to your the people who are here. There's already a bunch of people coming. So please let us know where you're from, where you're tuning us from. Just say hi. All right. In a moment, we're gonna have our special guest. Just before that, I just want to say hi to the people that are tuning from Ghana. We have a very big community in Ghana. People from northern Ghana, southern Ghana, from Accra, a lot of different teachers. We have very good friends there. We have been working with teachers from there in our last workshops. So I especially want to say hi to Mr. Abdul Fatau. I want to say hi to Forsons here. It's good to see people. It's very happy when you start seeing names that you can remember from other workshops and other strategies.
So
Miss Alice, yes. Uh, Portion, missing teacher. She's one of the one of our very good friends in Ghana. A teacher that is very interested in advocating for the the improvement of conditions in the classroom. All right. So we have also Anthony A.G. Salim from Ghana. Thank you. Thank you for being here. David Bless, do you want to say hi, Alejandro, to some of our...
yeah, to Ruben Klagbo from Ghana too, and Jacob Wansuva from Ghana. Huge community in Ghana, my friend.
Do you know what is the second country that we have most teachers from?
I don't know. I believe in Nigeria maybe or
Not Nigeria. It
Nigeria,
is number two is Kenya.
Kenya. Oh wow.
Kenya. Yeah, we have more than 500 teachers that have been attending our workshops from Kenya, mostly Nairobi. And the
Okay.
third country with most people is Zambia.
Yeah.
Zambia.
Hello to Frank Wambaya from Kenya. You
Oh,
know
there you go. There
Kenya?
you go.
There you go.
Exactly. So we are from the east to the west of Africa. We have some people that are definitely interested. We have seen that education in Africa is evolving similarly to what is happening all around the world, and that's why we are trying to bring uh, people who are familiarized with education around the globe, so we can actually get elements that are going to be appropriate for anywhere in the world, and that are kind of closing the gap between different regions and different countries around the world.
Look at this. Kenya is in the house. Gabriel Jelly Mukibet from Kenya. Hello, Daniel. Oh, people from Zambia too.
From
Chulwe?
Zambia.
Yeah, Chulwe is here.
Good. That is very good. We have a lot of people already. I think it's time to welcome our very special guest. Before we give way to Mr. Jeff, I just want to say that we very much appreciate his help. He's been very flexible. He's been very propositive, and he's definitely one of those people that you want to hear talk about education in the world. Want to say something about your good friend, Mr. Jeff Alejandro?
Yeah, of course, of course. 9 years ago, this kind guy and really smart guy came to Medellin, Colombia, here where we are located. Here, TOMi, where located where TOMi is located, and we talk about different programs. At that time, I was part of a public institution here, thinking in innovation in education, and he came to share with us some ideas, but also to understand what is happening here in Medellin. At this, from that moment to now, we have been working and we have been sharing a lot of different projects, and but mostly sharing the purpose to connect uh, bright teachers around the world and share with them opportunities, because we believe that education is the main opportunity we have in the life, and the main the core of what we are doing to change the world. So it's our way to face the new challenges, to understand better how we could work and help more teachers around the world. So Jeff is a friend of a lot of important people in the frame of education around the world. Jeff, my friend, thanks to be here with us, man.
Thank you, Alejandro. It's really good to see you, Luis. Good to see you too. I am very, very excited to be here with so many people who share my passion for education and who are interested in what I see as a great moment of opportunity to accelerate the number of people who benefit from it, from education. And I'm especially happy to see so many people from Ghana and Kenya and Zambia and other parts of the broader African world. Proud to be representing you all from Harlem, New York City, which we consider to be an outpost of Africa in North America as well.
That's great. That's great to hear. If you don't mind, Mr. Jeff, we would like to start by asking ourselves some questions that there's a lot of things to talk about, and today definitely it's the opportunity for the African community to come up with these questions. But we would like to start just to warm up with some specific questions. If you don't mind, Alejandro, I wanna start with one.
Of course.
All right. So, Mr. Jeff, according to your experience, how do you think the gap between education around the world is changing? Is it growing? Is it getting smaller? What do you think?
I think, several things are happening at the same time, right? It is very true that it has never been, there's never been a better time to be a wealthy, globally connected human being living on the earth. And rich people in Senegal and rich people in Ghana and rich people in North America have access to unprecedented amounts of opportunity for learning. But people without resources, who are not born into networks of power, are actually losing ground, because those of us who do have resources are zooming ahead so fast. So I happen to believe that some of that has to do with national borders, but more of it has to do with income inequalities and disparities around class and disparities around access. So all of that is happening at the same time, Mr. Luis, if you insist on calling me Mr. Jeff. And I'm glad that organizations like TOMi and the people here care enough to close those gaps, because that is a part of my passion as well.
True.
Jeff, first of all, I loved your background. You think in all of the details, and I love that. My friend, I know you have been talking and sharing the heads of different NGOs in the world and EdTech and global organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and others. What are the most impressive things you are seeing in terms of AI is using in education? What are the things that amaze you? Like, oh my God, this is something really a game changer thing.
So thank you, Alejandro. It's always good to see you, my friend. You're right. I do have the privilege of spending a lot of time with philanthropies funded by extremely powerful people like Bill and Melinda Gates. I'm actually en route later today to Arkansas, where I will meet members of the Walton family, who also invest a lot in education. And the thing that I want your audience, your community of teachers to know today is that um, every billionaire I have met in the last year has mentioned artificial intelligence. They are excited about this. They think that there's a revolution afoot. Whatever the strategies and goals of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation were last year, they are the same this year plus AI. Whatever the goals and the strategies of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative were last year, they are the same this year plus AI. And the Walton Family Foundation plus AI. The Hewlett Family Foundation plus AI. Bezos plus AI. This is the thing on the minds of the most powerful people in the world because they recognize that something powerful is happening in the world here. And that is the most important thing there. Now, the other thing is lots of people are leaning into the possibilities of AI, but frankly, not enough of them are teachers. Not enough of the people who woke up this morning thinking about how will artificial intelligence impact teaching and learning actually have been in a classroom recently. This is a situation where the technologists are in the lead to an extent that I consider dangerous. And a part of the reason why I'm honored to be here with this community today is that I consider it a part of my responsibility to make sure that it is people just like those in our audience today who decide how these powerful technologies will be used in teaching and learning, not the technologists. Right? There's an old saying that war is too important to be left to generals. I think artificial intelligence is way too important to be left to engineers.
Totally.
And so part of my goal is to invite your audience and people like you, Luis, and you, Alejandro, into this conversation so that we feel empowered to lead the conversation, so that artificial intelligence is something that happens with us, for us, and through us, and not just to us. And so I'm really, really interested in that. I also would love to show some things that are happening in AI. I'm really interested in this conversation, and I hope that your audience will be interactive today, because I get to speak to Luis and Alejandro whenever I want to. But when am I ever going to get to speak to Chulwi from Zambia? Or Ndeye from Senegal again? And so I really want to hear what your audience has to say, and I'm really excited for this conversation.
And I'm sure they have a lot of things to say, because something that definitely describes our audience in Africa is their participation. They're always willing to come up with thoughts that are very contextual and that enlighten us to learn more about their context, but also to show us how they are connected to what's going on around the world. So definitely, I'm sure that is going to happen. So from my part, I'm ready. I don't know if Alejandro, if you have any other questions.
Yeah, just to add about this reflection, Jeff did. In your opinion, my friend, so what are the biggest challenges to use that? Because I've been hearing a lot of concern about ethics, copyrights, even security of our data, in terms of our schools, our child. So what are, in your opinion, the biggest challenges in that implementing this in the schools?
So for me, the most important challenge is one that might surprise you a little bit. As you know, Alejandro, I live in a luxury high-rise building in Harlem,
I know.
full of the most privileged kids in the world. And I'm the kind of person who has relationships with the kids who live in my building. And so I talk to them in the elevator. All of the 10, 11, and 12-year-olds in my building are actively using AI right now. They're using it at home. They're using it with their families. They're using it in school. All of them are using it right now. None of the kids in the public school around the corner from my building are. None of the kids in the charter school down the street from me are. So I think the biggest problem is that we are deciding right now for whom AI is relevant, who gets to be involved in this, and we are yet again making it about access to resources as opposed to making this technology available to the most talented people in the world. You know that I believe very strongly that the future is African.
Totally.
I live in a country in the United States with far more 63-year-olds than 13-year-olds. That's not true in Zambia. That's not true in Senegal. That's not true in Ghana. The future is African. What we need to do as a global community is make sure that this technological revolution gets in the hands of brilliant African students as soon as possible so that they can lead us to where we are going. The fact that people my age who live where I am are more engaged with this than the youth and energy and brilliance that is coming out of Africa right now is, I think, the biggest problem. Yes, there are technological problems. Yes, there are problems related to bias. I think those will all be overcome, but we don't have a long time to overcome this widening technological gap, this widening resource gap, this widening digital gap. And so for me, that's the biggest problem. That's the most urgent problem. That's the problem most in need of solving first.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. So that was very good for the introduction. I think we already have a very good idea of what's going to happen today in this talk. So I think we can say the audience is yours, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Everybody, just get prepared to participate. We'll be here anyway. And if you need anything, Jeff will be here. Just let us know. And for everybody, just enjoy. Sit back and enjoy.
Thank you so very much, Luis and Alejandro, and thank you all for taking time out of your days today to participate with me in this conversation. I'm truly honored to be here. As you've heard, I'm Jeff Livingston. I am CEO of a consultancy called Edsolution that advises the largest philanthropies in the United States and around the world that invest in education. And I'm privileged to be here in conversation with you today. I hope you can see my screen because this is a photograph that is a little more than 50 years old of my grandparents in South Carolina, Charlie and Versie Bellamy. You may notice that they have their very favorite of their 97 grandchildren on her lap right there. That is me 50 years ago with my grandparents. If they were alive today, they'd be in their 120s today. And a part of the reason I start with them is that I'm aware that my grandfather sitting in that chair that I hope you can see there was a prosperous farmer in South Carolina. He grew tobacco. But it occurs to me that by the time my grandfather was 17 years old, he already knew almost all of what he would ever need to know to be a tobacco farmer in South Carolina. And by the time he was 25, I'm sure he had learned all the rest of it. And then he spent the next 50 years of his life applying what he learned in those first couple of decades across his life. Now, his grandson, me, and his great-grandchildren and his great-great-grandchildren will never have the experience of learning in the first 2 decades of their lives everything they need to know to lead a successful life for the rest of their lives. All of the rest of us, the students you all serve, will likely change whole careers several times. And the distance between my grandfather and this moment here is also what's going to happen hundreds of millions, if not billions of times on the African continent in the next couple of decades. We have to go from a fundamentally agrarian situation where everything you need to know, you can learn in the first couple of decades in your life, to a point where you have to be constantly relearning. And I'm here in their names and in the names of the students you all serve, as we who take responsibility for their education think about what that is going to mean for them in the years ahead. Now, just in case there's someone here who has not yet for themselves entered the generative AI moment, I'm going to leave this QR code on the screen for a moment here, because I think it is important that those of you with a smartphone should go to ChatGPT and or Anthropic, and at the very least sign up for the free versions of those powerful apps that are happening right now. And I'll tell you why. I was thinking recently about, it must have been 1983 or 1984, when one of my best friends, whose father was a prominent doctor in the community I grew up in, and named Tom and his sisters got for Christmas a personal computer. It was a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. And that Christmas present for Tom and his sisters was put in their family's living room. And I and others of Tom's friends had access to it, and Tom's sisters and their friends had access to it. And everything has been different since then for our nerdy friend group there. That was our first real encounter with what would become the power of personal computing in 1983. By May, on Tom's birthday, that computer wasn't in the family living room anymore. It was in Tom's bedroom. His family had decided that these computer things were something that were relevant to boys and not to girls. And Tom's sisters believed them. And it turns out now that we know that all over the developed world, that exact same conversation was happening over and over and over again. And from that moment, we have had a shortage of women in computer technology. Now, in the 1980s, nobody said, let's figure out a way to put girls and women at a disadvantage in computer science for 40 years. Nobody said, let's create, a conspiracy to make computer technology dominated by men. But it happened anyway. And I happen to believe that we are right now in that very same moment with respect to generative AI. We are deciding right now who gets to use it. We are deciding who is leading. We are deciding for whom these technologies will be used, to what purpose they will be put. We're deciding that right now. And some people are in the conversation and way too many people are not in the conversation. So I invite you all to be a part of this conversation. I'll start here with this image that I hope you all can see. I actually had AI create this image for me. And what this image represents is comparing Google to generative AI. And literally, the difference between the power of Google, that has become a big part of nearly all our lives in the last several years, and generative AI, is the difference between a horse pulling a buggy and a Maserati about to take off and zoom down the road. This is literally the level of power difference that we are experiencing right now.
We hear you. Our students and
Alejo asked me what I saw that I was excited about. And so I'm going to show you a quick video of one of the things I'm excited about that is happening right now in Los Angeles. In fact, it's scheduled to be released in 2 weeks, and it's being created by a company on whose board I serve.
Do you ever find yourself wanting to know more about your child's academic grades or progress and what to immediately do about it? Or wonder what to do when your child's school has just provided you with their current reading test results? Or maybe you have a question about algebra and how to get help for your child. Maybe you just want to schedule a meeting with your child's teacher to address concerns or how to keep accelerating their learning. Do you ever wish you could review their progress and know the immediate actions to take? Review their schedules and request help at any time of the day and as easily as you can check the weather on your phone? Students, wouldn't you like to access your scores and grades and be given the immediate steps you can take to improve your academics and accelerate your learning? How about being just a click away from using the resources needed to get you back on track? We hear you. Our students and families need a quick access point to stay connected with their children's academics and accelerate learning. That is why the Los Angeles Unified School District is designing a device application that will eliminate obstacles and allow for parents and students to get the next steps in their individual acceleration plan to accelerate students' academics at any time of the day. This app will allow for viewing of academic and other progress monitoring, grades, scheduling conferences, and what to do next. Let's take a look at how an elementary student, middle or high school student, and parent might use the IAP app. The IAP app will provide students with differentiated skill practice based on the analysis of their most recent testing data. Specific skills will be identified, and then practice activities for those skills will be linked to the IAP app for immediate support opportunities. Students in the primary grades will log into their app and use the voice command or easily accessible icons to immediately begin working on their practice activities to build their literacy and numeracy skills throughout the year to meet grade level standards. The app will provide guidance on how the students can improve their reading or math skills. The IEP app will also notify second.
Okay, I think you get the point there. Let me describe a bit of what you are seeing there. So what the district, the Los Angeles Unified School District, the second largest system in the United States, more than 700,000 students, are building an app that'll be on the smartphones of every student and parent in the district that will be their user interface for all district services. And the artificial intelligence component is that that app will be teaching the district how best to serve these families. So for example, if I am a parent in the Los Angeles Unified School District and I have a student who is in the 7th grade taking a science class, and I decide that he needs some tutoring in science, I can access that tutoring online. I can access either a mechanism for getting a live tutor, or I can access a digital tutor, or I can access a an online tutor for my students right online. And that is powerful, and that connectivity is powerful. But what I believe is more powerful is that the district, by watching the data carefully, will know when in the school year families are more likely to ask for tutoring, about which subjects, which kind of tutoring do they choose, when do they schedule the tutoring, so that the district is involved in a feedback loop where they are learning from parents and students what they need and getting better and better at serving them. This is possible only through the ability of these large language models to analyze the data, draw connections that it would take humans a very, very long time to see, and to really get better at helping to serve students with what they're doing. Now, via the comments, I would love to hear some of the questions, or to read at least some of the questions that you all have about AI before I go on to show you some of the other stuff I want to show you. Now, I was told that you all are not shy. I assume there might be a little bit of a technology lag, but please tell me, what would you like to see before I dive in and show you some of what I want you to see? Okay. All right. I will show you some of what I want you to see. I think it'll be important. Hold on just a moment. Welcome to ChatGPT, which almost exactly a year ago really started this conversation about generative AI. And what's interesting is that lots of people will tell you that AI, artificial intelligence, is not new. And of course, it is not new. But what is new, what ChatGPT really did, was it started a conversation that involved the rest of us, not just the technologists. It put these tools in our hands by giving all of us access to some version of these tools. Now, I am using ChatGPT 4. There is a free version called ChatGPT 3.5, but 4 is so much more powerful that I never even consider using 3.5 there. And obviously, there's an equity issue there, because GPT-4 costs $250 a year to have access to. And in lots of parts of the world, that's a lot of money. And so it means that access is inequitable. But let me show you some of the power here for these things. Okay, what should we do? Let's do this. How about this? I'm going to assume that you can see what I am typing. Now, I've asked a question. What are the most important middle grade math objectives for students in Ghana? And GPT-4 is answering this question. Now, what's important to note here is I used simple English. I didn't use Python or JSON or any special code. I just asked it a question in English, and it understood my meaning and came came through with some answers here. Now let's play a little bit. Algebraic thinking, okay? Now I've asked it to do a lesson plan. On algebraic thinking. That's all I said. A lesson plan on algebraic thinking. And this is what it's coming up with in less than 30 seconds. This is some of the power of this tool. But this is really just the beginning. This is, notice that it's differentiating between advanced students and students needing extra support. It's done all of this, and all I did was ask it to. Now let's play with it a little. Just as quickly as it created the lesson plan, it's turned it into an Afro-pop song. Just as quickly. I see your question, Theophilus. I'm coming to you in just a moment. Now, I'm sure there are some Twi speakers here because Ghana is so represented, and my small amounts of heritage from the Asante kingdoms didn't come with an understanding of Twi. Somebody tell me how good this translation is or not in the and again, I turned a lesson plan into a song and translated it into Twi in less than 30 seconds. Think about what that means for what is possible in curriculum development now. Think about what this means in the world. I used to be a publisher at a large American, actually a large global instructional materials company called McGraw-Hill. And I had a conversation about 13 years ago with the superintendent of a large school district in Florida who was considering purchasing a mathematics program from me and from my company. He said to me, Jeff, I love the program, it's great, but I really need a version of the program in Haitian Creole because that student population, students from Haiti who are dominating Creole, is really increasing in my district. and we need some materials that can help them. And 13 years ago, I said to him, Haitian Creole has only been a written language for a few decades. There are only a few hundred people who are good at translating it. It would cost me $2 million and at least 8 or 9 months to translate a math program into Haitian Creole. I just can't do that for you. You all just watch ChatGPT translate a lesson plan into a song and that song into Tree in 30 seconds. That means I could today translate that same math program into Haitian Creole in less than the time that the taxi will take me to get to lunch when I leave here there. That means that we can be much more localized. That means that those of you in Zambia should be demanding to know what is working in Europe, what is working in the United States, and how can you get it localized for you immediately? Because doing so is no longer nearly as expensive as it was even a year and a half ago, let alone that as long ago as I was having that conversation. Let me now get to Theophilus's question. Is there the possibility of AI replacing physical teachers in classrooms in the near future? In some ways, yes, it is possible. I happen to think that's a very, very, very bad idea. I think that part of what brings me to this work is that lots of the engineers who are working on AI in education right now think that the goal is to engineer out the people, is to get the humans out of the way and put the students in front of a machine that will teach them everything they need to know, as they need to know it, in the way they need to know it. But that is not what learning is. Learning is about community. Learning is about the interaction. It's about generational conveyance of values and worldviews. It's not just about simply conveying knowledge. But make no mistake about it, we are on the cusp, Theophilus, of a moment when, yes, you will be able to learn anything that you want from a machine at very low cost. And that does mean that physical teachers could be replaced. I will say this, though, too. It also means that students could be replaced. And let me think about it this way. So I'm going to get on an airplane later tonight. And the pilot of that airplane spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in a simulator before anybody ever let her get behind the wheel of an airplane or get into a cockpit. Yet, the day you graduate from teacher college, if you graduate from teacher college, they put you in front of a group of students and let you learn how to be a teacher in front of human subjects on day one. Just as easily as AI could replace a teacher, you could also create a classroom full of students that a prospective teacher could practice on, that a prospective teacher could learn to hone his practice of teaching and learning, his classroom management skills on. So it's not just about eliminating the teacher, it's about creating a situation in which teachers are empowered to do even better what they want to do. Let me show you a couple of other things with AI, then we'll move on. Now I've asked it to create an image. So I said, create an image of a Ghanaian science teacher leading a science class. What do we note about this image that it has created? And by the way, I've never had it do this before. I'm doing this in real time. I had no idea well, I had a little bit of idea, but I didn't know exactly what this was going to look like. What do you notice about this image? Okay, I'll help. I'll assume there's a bit of a delay in the technology here. I find it fascinating that while the educator could be Ghanaian, why is she teaching in a classroom full of white kids? What is the assumption there that she's not teaching in Ghana? What is the assumption that this Ghanaian science teacher is, that a science classroom looks like this, as opposed to looks like the classrooms that those of you who are here teach in? This is an example of some of the bias that is built into artificial intelligence right now. Now, you can help it to get out of that bias. You can help it to overcome that bias, but we must never forget that it's there. And while you can see it in the image, it's there in the text as well, for the moment. And we need to work hard to make sure that we get away from that kind of bias. So let me see if I could improve it a little bit. And again, simple English is what I'm using here, not some special code language, just English. I have it. Now, you can't do this in the free version of ChatGPT, GPT 3.5. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I see some images that look a bit like the Ghanaian flag. I see a classroom that looks more African than before, but I had to get her in there. It's also interesting that I didn't specify the gender of the teacher, but it assumed that I was talking about a female teacher. Let me see what else I can do here. Hold on just a moment. Okay. So before I went online and downloaded to my computer, just before I came on here, I downloaded to my computer a speech that was given by a Ministry of Education. And I just uploaded that into ChatGPT. I'm not going to tell it anything. I'm just going to upload it and see what it does with it. So as you can tell, this is a speech given by the Kenyan Minister of Education in June, and it has summarized the most important points of that speech and delivered them to me here. I didn't even have to ask it to do it. I uploaded a PDF of the speech, and immediately it summarized it for me. So some of you are asking questions like, what could an educator do with this technology? One thing is you could save a whole lot of time summarizing rules and regulations that come from your Ministry of Education. You could advance your own learning by summarizing documents and research to that extent too. Now, I could ask anything about this document that I wanted to, because it has been uploaded into ChatGPT. So I've asked it, what is the most important concept? And I decided to ask it to do so based upon how often the concept occurs in the speech. And we'll see what ChatGPT will do with that. Uh-oh, there was an error. Again, that happens too. It's live. It found that difficult to do. But here we are. The prioritization of the needs of underserved areas and ensuring that every student has access to quality education regardless of their geographical location. Great. Let me ask it another question. And again, watch how it does what it does. Again, I have no idea what the best secondary school is in Ghana, but it'll be interesting to see how it answers this question. So first it says that's subjective, but let's think about it. Well-regarded schools, it's figured out. Immediately went to an international school, another private school. It's obviously basing it on national and international science competitions. Tom, I'm very glad you're enjoying this. Those of you in Ghana, you agree with this list? Anything missing? And again, all I said was, tell me what is the best school. I know a couple of these. I know Achimota and I know Ghana International. I don't know the others. What do you all think? How's it done in this? So we are fast approaching the end of our time here together, and as you can tell, I've barely scratched the surface of what's powerful here. What I want you to see, though, is that while there are challenges, like sometimes the information isn't completely accurate, like bias is there, this is the beginning of what AI can do. None of this existed even 1 year ago. So the equivalent of this the equivalent of what we see here. Thank you, David Bless. The equivalent of what you see here is the difference between Tom McElderry's TI 99.4A, 40 years ago, and my iPhone 15. It's only going to get better. This is the worst AI we're ever going to see. It's only going to get better from here. So while David and Inusa disagree with this list, it's going to get better at this. It's going to get better at comparison. It's going to get better at justifying itself. So we who believe in education, who believe that education is freedom, who believe that it's our responsibilities to prepare our students for their futures, not our pasts, have to lean into this, have to think about this. Could someone talk to me in the chat about how you might already be using generative AI in education? So you've been using it for assignment, and that's been very effective. That's very interesting. So one other thing here, let me go to another one just quickly. Hold on one moment. So this is a different one called Claude. It was also one of the ones that you could take a look at there. This is Claude. It's by Anthropic. And I asked it to create a project based on project-based learning. And here's what it's doing. I assume the Kafue River ecosystem is an important ecosystem in Zambia, and that this is connected to what 13-year-olds are doing. And it's a topic that, is something that makes sense for students to do here. Again, we've had very, very little time. And as you can tell, I could go on for a very, very, very long time showing you more things here. And maybe, as Tom suggests, Luis and Alejandro, we should have another time when we actually show some tools, some things that others have built. I'm participating with a group of educators in New York City who are building their own tools for use. And I'd love to come back and show you what they built at some point too. Luis, Alejandro, I hope this has been helpful. I've certainly enjoyed being here, and I look forward to hearing if our amazing educators from around the African continent found this useful.
No, thank you very much, Jeff. We enjoy a lot all your words and reflections about AI and how we could use in a practical way, in a smart way, but also your analysis about the teacher's role, because most of our teachers are concerned, about the roles, in this emerging technologies area. So we believe that with these workshops, we could find I don't know if one answer, but several answers to be smarter in in using these technologies. Thank you very much, Jeff.
So my belief is this, Alejo. I don't think a computer is going to take your job. I think a human who is better at using computers to do their job better is going to take your job. So your opportunity is to lean in, is to do what Inusa has been doing and start with Ask Your Telegram, and maybe trying some of the things that I have shown you here today with ChatGPT and with Anthropic Claude, and figure out for yourself what to do. I'm not a technology expert. I am a lover of education who believes in equity in education, and I can do this. You can do this too. It's not a secret language. It's just simple instructions that the technologies can now understand in ways that would have been magical even a year ago. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this conversation. I look forward to talking to you both soon and to learning with your educators as well.
It was our pleasure, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully see you again.
Absolutely. Ciao.
Okay, good day. Okay, this was definitely a masterclass, a very short one. I think we could have continued, gone on for quite a while. I can see the people are already asking to put up another masterclass like this one. So we are definitely going to commit to that, right?
Totally. Yeah, we could ask to Jeff again to another time with him. For sure, he could give us more than a taste, because this workshop was like a short taste of what's mean to use AI in the school, but that our idea is to open and create a global vision, how we could use in a better way, so we could have Jeff and other guests we could find to share with you new ideas and exchange, because the interactive the idea to have a workshop is to interact with you, to understand your needs, your questions, and try to find, again, not the right answer, but several answers that we could use in a better way for our classrooms.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the definition of a community, right? So we are a community because together we build, because together we create. We are basically the producers of some content and opportunities and different strategies that we want to bring around the world. We want to focus on communities, on regions that are already responding, like the one in Africa. We know that at the moment there's 30 people connected watching this live, but I'm sure that within the next 24 hours, this number is going to grow a lot, because I know that some people prefer to watch our videos and our lives in a different moment. But I know that we can count on you, and that's definitely a very important bit of the entire system for the community.
Totally. I was thinking a lot about some of the reflections, the Jeff reflections about, for example, the gender gap we have. You know, technology most of the time have been seen like a male framework. No, like this is just a spot for men to work with technology, with software, with hardware, engineer. So sometimes it's one of the bias that we must face. No, sometimes it's tricky to understand the technology in just one or two or one gender, and we need to close the gap between this idea to have just males working with software or males working with AI.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our the main topics nowadays, right? And because we have a special connection to technology and innovation, I think this is something that we need to continue talking about, informing ourselves and informing teachers and people involved in education around the world, so that we stop thinking so much about the concerns, and we can start seeing the opportunities of AI in our field. I think that'll be key.
Totally, totally. Yeah, and as Jeff mentioned, the challenge is not to understand the change that we will be out of the work because the AI is coming. First of all, it's not coming. It's here right now. AI is everywhere. And secondly, the challenge is to upgrade, to upskill ourselves in a lifelong learner point of view. That's most of in the TOMi Digital, in this company, we believe that we must have this point of view about the world. You know, uh, to be a lifelong learner, learning every day, thinking in how we could upskill our set of skills in this classroom, but also in the real life.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So before we believe, we have a very important news to give you. We want to continue creating community, to continue inviting all the peoples. We want you to make sure that every time that you see something related to TOMi, something that is going to be helpful and is going to be productive and is going to mean something special for you. And we actually want to share a very, very important strategy that we are globally organizing at the moment, and that is what we call the TOMi Awards. The TOMi Awards is a strategy coordinated by my partner and friend, Mr. Alejandro,
Partner in crime.
my partner in crime. So I would like you, Alejandro, to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you, Luis. Yeah, actually, we have this vision of this global map, the global landscape of teachers that we are working on. So we have been working there in Guatemala during the last 3 years. We're starting working in Nicaragua and Costa Rica too. This is Center of America, belong U.S. And we have been working with several teachers, more than 22,000 teachers there. Here in Colombia too, also in Peru and other places. And we are inviting you, teachers from different countries in Africa, Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria, Kenya, to apply to be one of the teachers who have the opportunity to be here with us in Medellin, Colombia, next March the 2nd. So we are planning something really cool for you. What are we planning? We will send you a format, really short format, to apply to this TOMi Award. But the TOMi Award will be a process to first be in the TOMi digital platform. So, then you could put your own creativity in creating a class to share your own culture, your languages, your customs, your dress. What are the things that you like the most to share with others, like Jeff Livingston there in New York, or our friends there in Guatemala, to share with them what are the most colorful or meaningful things that you believe that is part of your own culture. Then we will identify the classes with more subscribes and with more applications in the classes, and then we will select 200 of those teachers, 200 of those classes, and we will have a really well-known jury to find two from the group of 200, just two of those teachers, to invite them from every part of the world, from Ghana, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Guatemala, with all cover tickets and accommodation, and also the educational agenda, because we will be here from the 28th of February to the 3rd of March. 5 days here with us, working with TOMi and other teachers to understand and to face the new challenges of education. And you will have a spot, a really VIP spot in the event of the launching event of TOMi 8, the 8th version of this beautiful device named TOMi Digital. So that's the information, that's the invitation. I hope you all of you apply and share with others this application to have more representation of African countries here in our event.
All right. We will make sure to send each one of you that is registered in our registration form the specific invite, so you know exactly what to do in order to participate. So everyone is invited to participate. What we want you to do is to show us a little bit of your context, of your realities. We want to learn with you together what's going on in education around the world. So that's why we are focusing this one on that cultural aspects, traditionals. Just show us the best from your area, from your region, from your country, whatever you think is good, and you are going to be physically part of one of our most important events in the last years, probably. All
Totally.
right.
Yeah.
So we would, I personally would love that one of you could be here joining us for that event. So check your email. Also join our Telegram team. Okay, our Telegram group. Remember that you have direct contact with us there, so you can just make sure that you have all the information. And if you need to know something, even if it's about how to use our platform, how to use devices, the different possibilities that we are offering. Remember that we also have artificial intelligence implemented in our platform nowadays. So everything you need to know about that, and every question, every support element that you need will be there for you. So I know some of the names that I would definitely could start mentioning that is worth that will be worth to hear from.
Mhm.
But I want you to try and be part of that. This is a community, and that's what we want to do with the community. All
Totally. I'm
right.
seeing a lot of expression here. Really like Abdul saying really great news, or Tom Jr. is, say, wow. Uh, and Cynthia is saying, can wait. So, yeah, friend, I think it's a good news for everyone.
Hopefully we're gonna get a lot of proposals from Africa. Remember Ghana, we're looking at you. Kenya, Zambia, Nigeria, we're looking at you. So just make us proud. We are kind of like competing with the other team, the Central America team. So
Exactly.
we need you to help us get a lot of contributions. All
Exactly.
right. So remember, you can get a certificate of attendance for this masterclass. Just make sure that you have completed the form. It's in the comment. Just go ahead and look for it, complete it. Remember to make sure that you have also created an account on our teachers platform, TOMi Digital, before you claim for your diploma. And I will send you an email with the instructions to get it as soon as I can. Also, remember, we are preparing a new masterclass, right, Alejandro?
Yep.
So probably not, well, this will be the final encounter for this year, because we know that the situation, the working situation is changing around the world these days. But we are preparing our first masterclass for very early, probably end of January or the beginning of February. So please stay connected, stay tuned, because there's more interesting things coming with TOMi Digital.
Yeah. Tom Jr. is saying Zambia is coming. So, my friend,
I do believe that, Tom. Yeah, I know you can do it.
great.
All right. Hey, Alejandro, thank you very much for being here with us
Good.
again. Thank you for bringing that very special guest, Mr. Jeff Livingston. Definitely an outstanding representative of the EdTech world, and a very knowledgeable person in terms of new trends. That's what we have been hearing that people need in Africa. Also, if you have any other ideas, just let us know what other topics you would like to us to cover, and we will be trying to get people that are as representative as Mr. Jeff.
Totally. We enjoy a lot the words of Jeff, and I hope next masterclass we will have him and other really well-known and educators with us too.
Perfect. So thank you all for being here. Remember to follow us on Facebook, to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss any of these strategies. Thanks again for sharing this information with your colleagues and with everyone that's interested in education. And remember that we are here for you and to create a community with you. So have a great day.
Have a great day, my friend. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye bye.